Yeah, I know the game happened last night, but we're gonna talk about it right now, real quickly. Toronto Raptors did play the New York Knicks yesterday, and they took that ass whooping. They ended up losing. They got spanked. Um, Honestly, at this point, it's kind of like we already know what it is at this point with the team. This team right now. Honestly, quarter of the season has passed, and this team, well, they lost to the New York Knicks 136 to 130. The Raptors have two directions they can go. I'm gonna keep this very. They have two directions they can go. They can start making trades and get rid of some of the talent that we have, like a la Pascal, a la OG Ananobi. Um, I think it's time we offload some of the players that we have, or or so we can make by trades. We can start trading certain guys, or we could do this. We could tank. It's very simple. We have two options because at this stage we could either tank and lose every game and go on and just go on and play for the number one. I don't even know who the number one pick is. Number two, three. I don't know. I'm not following up with that. Those are our options right now. I'll tell you that much. Those are options right now. We ain't got no other options. I'll tell you right now. We ain't got no other options. That's all we have. That's all she wrote. Because at this point, we're not going to go to the playoffs with the roster we have. We don't have the capability, nor do we even have the IQ to go out there and beat some of these teams and stay competitive. We're not fundamentally we don't play good basketball. We have good moments, but we don't play as a unit 4 quarters straight, go on to win the game. We don't do that. We don't do that consistently enough for us to be in the playoffs. So because we don't do that consistently enough for us to be in the playoffs, then those are options. Either we go out there and just lose this game, lose it, and go out there and lose it, or we come back, we trade all our guys, and we get ready for the tank because this team isn't that good. This is not a good basketball team. The quality of basketball is not there, and it's hard to cover this team. It's hard to sit down there. Like there's a lot of things I can go into analytically and break down with this team, but I prefer not to because it's a waste of time. There's so many things that I see wrong with this team. This team is too flawed. Like literally, you'll have guys who are in front of the basket, and immediately their first. It's like their mind just resets. It's like immediately 3 point line, 3 point line. Everything's the 3 point line. I'm just like, nah, man. It don't work that way, bro. It don't work that way. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. It don't work that way. 3 point line. If your main priority is focusing on the 3 point line and that's all you want to do is shoot threes, to the point where guys are getting right in front of the basket, they can't even score at the basket anymore. You have guys like Scotty Barnes passing it to the open defender. Like, what are we doing? At this point, it's like we got to start asking these questions. What are we really doing out here? What are we doing as a team? Is this the direction we're trying to go? It's hard to cover this team. It's a tough watch, man. Honestly, the Raptors are terrible. We have two options, like I said before. And I'm going to keep saying it. Either you tank, or you get ready for, or you tank, or you start trading all your assets because this team is garbage. Shouts to my guy Liam O'Reilly, bro. Shouts to Liam. Yeah, you're 100% right. This team is a disaster. We are horrible. And at the end of the day, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming none of the players. I'm not blaming the coach. I'm only blaming Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri. Those two guys are the only ones I could blame for this. Because at the end of the day, nobody else is to blame. You had options to make trades, you had options to do certain things, but you decided to keep these guys. We're not going to win with these guys. They don't have the IQ to win. They don't have the tenacity to win. They don't have the skill. They have the skill set is there, but it's not. They don't have the teamwork and the camaraderie. As a team, you have to play. Basketball is not an individual sport; it's a team sport. So you have to play as a team. Toronto Raptors do not play as a team. They do sometimes, and then they don't sometimes. And then on top of that, too, they're just not better than anybody. I could sit down there and watch other teams play. There's teams that are way more athletic, teams that play more ferocious. They don't grab enough rebounds. They don't have no second stars. Literally, Scotty Barnes. Let's be real. Scotty Barnes is green, yo. Scotty Barnes is green. If you think Scotty Barnes is going to take you to the promised round by himself, oh, you must be mistaken. Because Scotty Barnes doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have that mental fortitude yet. He's still green, bro. He's still young. We got to bring people in there to train him, and we got to have a team to teach him how to win. It's sad because you would think Pascal Siakam played on the championship team and he'd be able to like be a 1-2 punch with this guy, but he can't even do that. He can't do that. Pascal can't take out over anything. And it's no shot at Pascal. Pascal Siakam really and truly is like a third or fourth option on a team. I think he's a fourth option. I think, of course, the NBA inflated stats, et cetera, et cetera. Tank or blow it up. Exactly. Tank or blow it up. Pick your choice. Exactly. Those are the only two options you have. Just like I stated, shouts to my guy Liam O'Reilly for pointing that out too. You have either two options. You tank or you blow it up, man. Simple as that. You that's all you can do. You can't go out there and win with this because this team isn't even a playing team. If they miraculously make it into the play-in, who they be? They're not. They if they even manage to, they will go in they'll go in there and they'll be playing 2 games in the play-in tournament. They'll have to eliminate one team and then eliminate another team to get into the playoffs. Raptors ain't gonna do that. That's already a tall task for them, and I don't see them being able to do something like that. Just speaking for myself personally. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just like we already know what the options are at this point. We know what our options are. We know what we have to do. Like, it's not the player's fault. I'm not sitting down here saying, oh, it's this guy or this guy. I know people love to play the blame game, but I'm not going to sit down here and blame any of the players. I'm not going to blame the coach. I'm going to blame Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, and the presidential side up top. Because at the end of the day, you guys put this disaster together. You guys put this terrible product together. They have guys like even the lineups don't even make sense at this point. Like Malachi Flynn, when is he going to step up? Gary Trent looks like he's tapped out. Gary Trent looks like he checked out. I look at Gary Trent. Sometimes his body language, his demeanor just says it all. Like he don't look like he's in it anymore. I don't know where his mind is on buying Supreme and and go shopping and stuff like that and look cool and fly. That's some of these guys. That's what their main priority is: looking cool and fly. They don't give a shit about winning basketball. They don't care about going out there and winning a championship. All they want to do is look cool and fly. Real talks. Shouts to my guy, Bill Styles. He said Nick Nurse is laughing somewhere. Oh yeah, he already predicted with the burner account. What did Nick Nurse say? Nick Nurse said, "Oh, Toronto Raptors. This team. He was burnt out. This team doesn't have it. He saw it. He said Jerry Trent is unfixable. You know what I mean? Scotty Barnes is this. Scotty Barnes is that. But you know what I mean? Bro, this team is not good. This is not a good basketball team at the end of the day. If you sit down there and watch this team, they can't beat. They could pull wins here and there. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They're on a 4. They've lost 4 of their last games. Is it maybe even 5 now? Like that's how bad they are right now, the Raptors. They can't even get out. They can't even pass. They've been hovering at 11th seed for the longest time now. I've been looking at the 11th seed, and it's like they're living off that 11th seed. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can't beat anyone. Literally, they can't beat anyone. Like, look at this. Look at this. So, look at this. I'm going to break this down to you. Look, if you look at it, in the last 7 games, they only won 1 game. They beat the Suns, and that was it. They lost to Cleveland. They lost to Brooklyn. They lost to New York. They lost to Miami. They lost to Charlotte, and they lost to New York again. And then on top of that, later on today, in the evening today, they're gonna have to go and play the Atlanta Hawks, and they have back-to-backs against Atlanta. And what's Atlanta's record? You know what I mean? What's Atlanta's record in the standings? Atlanta's 10th place. Atlanta's just over them. So it's two garbage teams fighting for bottom feeding positions. Yes, they would be in the play-ins if the play-ins started tomorrow, but the Raptors are not a good team. They lost to the Hornets. How do you lose to the Hornets that are 13th in the East? Like, bro, who are these guys beating, yo? Like, real talk, who are these guys beating? Even if we win 2 games, it doesn't matter. It's not a sign here on there. Yeah, it's true. The only way the Raptors could sit on here and tell me something is they have to go on a killer winning streak. They got to go out there just like literally just 10 games straight. Just start crushing teams. And then even then, they'll be able to put themselves in a playoff seating. But that's impossible. They're not going to be able to do that. That's with this team, not with this team, not with the guys they have. This team is terrible. Like when I watch them play, I'm like the IQ is horrible. Like I'm literally seeing guys miss buckets in front of the net now. I'm seeing guys literally Scotty Barnes passed it to the opposite team when literally they're playing catch up with a few minutes left against New York. Like you can't sit on here and make this up, man. This team is not what it's supposed to be. And the reality is, it's hard to cover them. Like I watched the game yesterday. I didn't even sit on there after the game. I was so disgusted. I was like, I don't even want to talk about it after. You know what I mean? It feels like I'm doing it. Honestly, if it doesn't even, it's not appeasing to me. It's like I'm a chore. This is a chore covering the Raptors at this point. I don't want to do it. I don't want to cover a Toledo Karen team. I made a vow. I said, yo, I'm gonna give away tickets. But I'm not giving away tickets to a garbage team. This team needs to give me some. This team needs to get to 500 before I start giving away tickets for this game. I have no problem giving away tickets, but I'm not giving away tickets to a bottom feeder. You go there and they lose, stink up the gym. You know what I mean? This team is not competitive at all. I want to give away tickets for the Raptors, but how am I going to give it away? Free tickets if this team sucks. Like I can't do that. I said 500. They got to make it a 500. They haven't even gone to 500. They're under 500. And they have to be at least in a playoff standing for me to even start even, okay, you got to give it, because now it means it counts. It really counts. These games don't count right now. They're terrible. Dennis is trash. That dude, Dennis all right. But the problem with Dennis is Dennis can only give Dennis some good players. Dennis will play good. Give Dennis some guys. Gives Dennis some dogs. Dennis will play good. Dennis all right. But the problem is Dennis don't got nobody. The reality is it's just like this. This is what I'll tell you. The truth is. The truth is. We have too many hype jobs on this team. We have too many tweeners. We have too many just average guys who could drop 20. Oh, look at his defense. He dropped 20. Like honestly, let's be real, bro. If OG Anunoby doesn't have a big season this year, I think it's time to move on from OJ. We're gonna pay this guy over $100 million for what? I'm waiting. We're gonna pay Pascal Siakam. We're paying Pascal Siakam $140 million for what? Pascal Siakam is a $2-3 million player. And I'm not trying to be funny or not, but what I'm looking at right now, I don't see $100 million. I see a $2 million player for that contract he's getting. So, like, what are we doing right now? Like, what are we doing? Like, we got to ask these questions. Like, what are we doing? Like old Style said, you know what I mean? Knicks fans were talking reckless. Of course they were talking reckless, but I couldn't even watch them after the game. I was like, I already know. I know what it is. Remember, we're all the Atlantic Division, right? So this is a division game. So I already know what the Knicks are going to be saying about us. You know what I mean? They're looking at their get back. They remember the Knicks low-key kind of jealous of us because we won that championship and we were running the East till end of 2010s. We're the second percentage winning team in the NBA in the 2010s. So, it's Golden State and then us. We're the top team in the Eastern Conference in the 2010s as far as winning percentage goes. And then all of a sudden we go to this. This is why I'm talking. This is why it sounds real harsh. The delivery is very brash. But at the end of the day, it has to be delivered. It has to be said. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like in the last 2010s, all we did was win. 2013 all the way to 2020, all we did was win. We ain't losing nothing. We're spanking teams every single season. Dunking on guys, windmilling it, catching lobs, making the crowd go crazy, selling out games, selling even down there. You go outside. Outside was even more packed outside was even sold out. Like outside was even lit. Like we had, come on. Because of the Raptors, now teams are all going around there trying to run around in front of a television and watch the game outside. That we started that. That was our thing. We did all that. That's all us. So it's like, what he's like? I'm not trying to. These guys suck, man. Raptors suck, man. Let's be real. Gary Trent, bro, he's done. Pressure Chua, he's done. He's garbage. OG Anunoby, he's done. His time is up. He hasn't progressed at the rate I need him to progress at. You can't give me games here and there. Pascal Siakam, he's done. He ain't leading nobody anywhere. Don't really care about the Knicks fans, bro. Who they are. They didn't win squat. Nah, I agree with you. Knicks ain't win nothing, but At the end of the day, they are Atlantic Division rivals. They are teams in our division, right? So they're gonna obviously talk, right? They need these wins. They know the important significance of beating up on us because it's a psychological thing. Yo, they can beat up on the Raptors, they're good to go. You know what I mean? That's basically what it boils down to. You can beat up on the Raptors, you're good to go. So the New York Knicks was able to beat up on the Raptors, and now they're talking smack. Cool. You're right. At the end of the day, we can't live off the past. We can't sit down and be like, "Oh, we did this, we did that." Like we can't live off of that. We got to move forward. You know what I mean? We can't be living off the old days. Like, we can't be that kind of that group of people. Los Angeles Lakers are still out here. Boston Celtics are still out here competing. They've been competing for championships, and they're going to forever compete for championships. So what are we doing? Are we going to compete for championships as well? Or are we going to just fall back and start moaning and complaining and living off the? Because I know Toronto fans love to live off the past. They're still living off that Leafs championship from back in those days. You know what I mean? People's great grandparents were watching that. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about, man? We can't be living off the old days. We got to get forward. We got to move forward now. You know what I mean? That's how Toronto people are. But yo, we can't be doing that. Where we got to look at what we're presenting right now. It's either you're getting better, or you're getting worse, and we gotten really bad. And at the end of the day, it needs to change now. Something needs to change. So, like I said before, we have two options: either we tank, or we blow it up. We trade all the assets. We trade a bunch of assets. We start adding new pieces. Get a bunch of draft picks. Get some other players in here. Start utilize. We got to start playing. We got to start playing chess out here. We used to do it all the time in the 2010s. We got to start doing it now. We got to start getting assets, getting players, getting this guy, getting that guy, et cetera, et cetera. That's the only way we're going to be able to get this done. Or else what's going to happen is we're going to have to be forced to sign these guys to a boatload, a buku amount of money. These guys are going to literally get you know what I mean? Scotiabank is going to have to come over there. TD's going to have to come over there and drop a Brinks truck in front of these guys' house to pay these guys for what? For what? For what? And if they pay these guys the money, then I think it's time for us to fire management. We got to remove all these guys. Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, we're going to have to leave. Your time is up. You did your job. Now we got to find somebody else who's capable of doing it. You guys got too complacent, too content, too comfortable, and now you know what I mean? Your services are no longer needed. Because at the end of the day, we're running an operation, running a business. At the end of the day, we're evaluated by wins and losses. That's how we're evaluated. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. It's wins and losses. How many wins you win, how many losses you have received, and that's how we're able to determine what we are. So if we're going to continue to lose, then we already have an idea of what we are, and we don't want to have losing basketball. We don't want to push losing basketball as our motive or as our MO, because that's not where we're from. That's not what we do over here. You see what I'm saying? But that's what we are doing over here. So not saying that's not what we do, because we have done it in the past. You know what I mean? The further back you look into past, the further you can look into the future. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we have a track record of losing, and now we're displaying that right now. You know what I mean? Name change. The names and the players change, but the game stays the same. So it's kind of like we gotta really fix a lot of different things. There's a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure damn rhymes. And it looks like we're going through that phase right now where we're looking pretty awful out here. And let's be real. These guys are going to try to run around here, use the playing game as a success. The playing game is not a success, for your information. FYI, it is not a success. The playing game is for losers. Fucking losers playing that garbage. Winners don't play in that trash. That is some BS they created to generate ratings and generate more revenue. But prior to that, that thing never existed. 8th first 1, 7th first 2. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's how you do it. You feel me? 6th first 3, 5th first 4, and that's it. So all this other stuff, hyping up a plane and all this. Come on, man. Oh, we're gonna shock the world. We're gonna be the Cinderella story of the like. Knock it off. You're watching too much Dick Vitale in the NCAA. That's not what we do in the NBA. Okay. All right, so yo, listen. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this stream up. We'll be later on. We'll be out here later on today. I'm not even gonna hold you guys. We're not gonna spend too much time rambling or ranting about the Toronto Raptors. We'll be back. Raptors have a game against the Atlanta Hawks, 10th versus 11th. You know what I mean? Basically, bottom feeder versus bottom feeder. And that's crab in the barrel versus crab in the barrel. That's basically what it is right now until they climb out of the barrel and start really moving on, shaking out here. Because once you get into the playoff standings, you're moving and shaking out here now. So, anyways, I'm signing out. Adios.